We were there last year for the Resvani. I can't believe I must have missed you. We were driving around giving away that thing pretty much all day, and then we let my wife Tanya Tay drive it for a little bit, and I said, all right, that's enough for Tanya. She's because she hit that accelerator all the way up, but that thing's top heavy, man.
Oh, it is heavy. A lot of fun though. Kind of miss having it around, but we got given away to a
This
one lucky
no
winner.
no had to give it away. The armored tank Jeep giveaway that we did. But when it comes to My Patriot Supply, when we're looking at all this stuff, I always tell people, that it's people talk about natural disasters. They talk about the electric grid, which of course is huge. They talk about the war, right? The fact that look, I just got back from Anchorage there with the president and meeting with the Russians and talking to the Europeans. This thing, unfortunately, doesn't look like it's winding down anytime soon. And as much as I hate to say it, because I'm a believer in peace and I hope we can get to peace, that there's even some possibilities that this thing could flare up even more. And if it doesn't, then what President Trump has said that if that happens, that even if the U.S. doesn't get involved, but what the U.S. would do is these secondary tariffs on China because of their purchases of Russian oil, potentially on India is something that he's talking about. How would that affect our supply chains here at home?
Well, I don't know how many people know this per se, but I think a lot of people understand that we are connected around the world globally when it comes to supply chains. No matter who's providing oil or food, gas, everything. So when you start spiking up even diesel, I mean, the truck drivers are still carrying food to our grocery stores, all of our products across the oceans. Like it's going to spike up everything as any kind of price fluctuates, whether if it is food or specifically gas, everything goes up. And whenever you start talking about supply chains, electricity, the grid is so fragile. I mean, power outages happen all the time. People lose hundreds of dollars in their refrigerator. It's always a nightmare. I've been around the world as a military person. I've seen what happens when people have nothing, they lose everything. And it happens here in the US as well. You're talking floods, any kind of big natural disaster, even if it's non political. And to me, electricity is super important. I love our Grid Doctor 3300. The nice thing about it is we built it so it works for you. Like we have extension cables for it. You can keep it safely in your house, keep your panels outside charging. We have pass-through charging ability. So, I mean, the unit is charging while it's powering things at the same time. A lot of solar generators don't have that capability. But food and power, water filtration, it's all super important to have. And I'm a huge believer in being prepared, at least 10-day minimum for your whole family.
Well, and that's huge because this is a huge piece with when it comes to AI, when it comes to these data centers that they're talking about the huge energy production that's going to be needed for this because people have to understand that these are going to be processing centers so processors of processors. So these massive centers that require constant use and you look at how crypto uses it as well. Huge pressure on our energy system, huge pressure on our grid, and unfortunately, we haven't seen those grid replacements and improvements. Of course, President Trump has been talking about that, wants to do it, but it hasn't gotten through yet. And now we're moving into fall, moving into winter. People are going to be coming inside more. They're going to use more power.
Well, the other crazy thing about that too, I mean, I have people who live down the road from me where the city says, "Hey, I know you just bought an electric car, but don't plug it in." Our power grid cannot power your electric vehicle that our government has pushed you to buy. And now we're going like skipping electric vehicles, going straight to data centers. Like our grid's supposed to handle that. Like now is now is definitely the time to at least get a grid doctor. I mean, you can double your power. The expansion pack that sale's going away soon. Take advantage of that. And I would encourage all of your fellow patriots who are listening to this channel, call in right now because when you call in, like you guys are supporting American families. They can help you ensure you get what you need for your family as well. They're very professional.
And this is key. What are some of the other top products that you're seeing people get into right now?
Definitely food storage. So a lot of people are working to like get a 3-month food supply for each person in their house. If you can afford more, go more. We have a great payment plan. But my big top three priorities would be power, food, and water filtration. Maybe not exactly in those order. Food's obviously the most important. Power probably being the third, but water filtration, you have to be able to eat and drink to survive. And then power just really help keep the lights on, keep everything going. You have your refrigerator, but definitely want to have those three items, bare minimum.
You know, and what I always tell people too is when I look at this thing, people talk, you know, look, natural disasters, fires, hurricanes, floods. We've seen horrific flooding this summer. It's been one of the weirdest, absolute weirdest weather cycles this summer at all. And I was even saying that, I hate to say this, I was even saying that before some of the floods got going. And just in my area, it's been in the DC area, it's been incredibly wet this summer. And then, you know, you never know what's going to happen. So you get a My Patriot Supply kit, you throw it in the back of your trunk, you throw it in the back of your wife's trunk, or you have one, you know, a couple in your garage, just because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. You never go and need something. We've got small kids, so God forbid we're in a situation where suddenly we've got to get food, suddenly we've got to get water, we don't have access to the store, car's not working, whatever it is. You've got something that you can go to. It's ready. It's right there. And you have at least the peace of mind, because you're going to be dealing with a whole lot of other stuff when you're in one of these situations. At least food. It's that great Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, go all the way down to the bottom real fast in a disaster scenario. So suddenly, you know, you don't have a shelter, you don't have the rest. That's what you need.